Thank you. The violence in the Middle East, Ed, is reaching new levels, and now the rhetoric there is reaching new levels as well. Today, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini is calling on the Islamic world to arm Palestinians fighting what he calls the Zionist regime. Khomeini spoke to hundreds, maybe even thousands of gatherers today at a speech marking the end of Ramadan. In his speech, Khomeini says Israel is acting like a, quote, rabid dog, and says they are committing genocide in Gaza. The Iranian leader, also called the ceasefire talks a ploy by the U.S. and Europe to save Israel. Instead, Khomeini says the Islamic world must rally behind Hamas, provide weapons, and continue to defeat Israel. Meantime, the fighting continues to intensify in Gaza as Israeli defense forces began to concentrate on key Hamas targets. Israeli warplanes leveled the home of a top Hamas leader last night. The IDF also struck the offices of Hamas-run TV and radio stations. In the meantime, tens of thousands of Palestinians have been displaced by the fighting in Gaza. The death toll eclipsed 1,000, and most of those victims on both sides, Israel and Gaza, are civilian. Back here in the U.S., federal contractors are now building the first U.S. nuclear reactor in some 20 years, but construction is proving to be problematic. Issues stemming from the design and quality of prefabricated materials is leading to construction delays and safety concerns. Despite that, utility companies in Georgia and South Carolina are looking to complete the building of these new reactors sometime in 2017. Also, the U.S. has now accused Russia of violating a very important nuclear missile treaty. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev agreed to the key arms control treaty back in 1987. That ban prohibited the U.S. and Russia from using ground-launched ballistic or cruise missiles capable of flying up to 3,400 miles. The decision helped put an end to the Cold War and has been regarded as a cornerstone of American-Russian relations since then. Yesterday, President Obama raised these allegations of misconduct in a letter addressed to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Also later today, I think we may have got this, the State Department saying that Russia is doing very little, no shred of evidence coming from the White House that Russia is doing anything to ease the violence in eastern Ukraine. More news ahead in 30 minutes. I'm John Bachman, now back to Midpoint.